The key to mastering Excel VBA is to understand how to manipulate Excel and all its elements such as worksheets, charts, rows, columns, cells, etc. These elements are called objects and they are stacked within a hierarchy. For example, a cell doesn't exist on its own. It is part of the worksheet, and a worksheet in turn is part of a workbook or the Excel file, and the workbook is part of the Excel application. There are many such hierarchies within Excel, and this is called the Excel object model. But why is this important? The basic rule to manipulate an object is that we need to identify the object before we can do anything with it. Suppose I'm standing in the middle of the street and I tell my friend, open the door. The obvious reply will be, which door? So I say, open the front door. And I should expect a reply, okay, but which house? And we can go on. The point I want to highlight here is that there can be ambiguity in interpreting which door we are instructing to open. And unless my friend can locate the door, how can he open it? And a legitimate risk is that my friend may open the front door to the wrong house. We face a similar issue in VBA when trying to provide instructions to Excel. To resolve this, we have the Excel object model, which defines the relationships between different objects within Excel. Let's talk about objects in the context of our everyday surrounding. Anything tangible can be described as an object. Take the front door of our house for example. It is a solid entity which we can see and touch. Our house itself may have many doors. The front door, kitchen door, bedroom door, etc. They may have different colors or dimensions, but they are still all doors. In this context, a door is an object and the various doors in the house are all different door objects. So the front door is a door object which has the name front door. Since there are many doors in our house, we can group them together as a collection object. The doors collection is a container for all the door objects in the house, and the doors collection is an object itself. Let's write some pseudocode to refer specifically to the front door. Out of all the doors in the house, or rather within the doors collection, we want to refer to the front door. We can refer to the door object by its name placed within double quotes. Now, let's understand the concept of a hierarchy. So far we've seen the doors collection, but do these doors exist on their own? No, they exist as part of the house. So, doors is a collection within the house object, and this is the object hierarchy where one object is stacked within another. But does the house exist on its own? No, it exists as part of the town. And let's assume nothing exists beyond the town. In this context, the town is the topmost all-encompassing object. And the town has many houses, which is a collection. Out of all the houses, I want to refer specifically to my house, which is an object in the houses collection. And within my house, I want to specifically refer to my front door. This is a hierarchy within the hypothetical town object model. It isn't the only hierarchy. We can have a windows collection within the house object, and we can have a roads collection within the town object and refer to a traffic light on that road. Okay, let's come back to our front door. Now town is the topmost object. Whenever we refer to any object within this town universe, it is always understood that we are implying that the object exists within the town. So we can drop the reference to the town. But if we are sitting inside a house and we want to refer to the front door, it is safe to assume that we mean the front door to our house. In this context, our house is the active house and we can refer to the front door as active house dot doors front door, or even directly as follows: doors front door. Lastly, let's look at properties and methods. Let's ask some questions. What is the color of the front door? Brown. What material is the front door made of? Wood. These are all characteristics of the door object, also known as properties. Let's ask some more questions. What can we do with our door? We can open it. We can lock it. These are all actions that we can perform with the front door, or rather methods of the door object. We can even do something based on an action. For example, if the door opens, we want the audio system in our house to turn on and play our favorite music. Opening of the door is an event. Now, suppose we want to build a new house. Will we just start laying the bricks randomly and think about putting doors, plumbing, etc. as and when we get to it? No, we will probably have a plan ready. In architecture terms, we will have a base blueprint, and may make few modifications here and there. In VBA terms, a class is the blueprint of an object. It defines the methods and properties that will be made available with the object. And an object is an instance of a class. You can create 100 houses from one blueprint. Similarly, you can create multiple instances of objects from a single class, which in our case is the house class. So let's get back to the original instruction I was trying to give to my friend in the introduction to this video. That is, open the door. I will need to first identify or tell my friend which door object I am referring to, and only then can I tell him to open that particular door. So we identify the object using the full reference: down, houses, ash home, doors, front door. And once we have identified it, we can call the open method for that object. Now, there is no ambiguity in this instruction and no possibility of my friend opening the wrong door. And this was an example of an object model in the real world context. Now, let's go through each concept once again, but this time in the context of Excel and VBA. An Excel application is made up of several individual elements known as objects. Common objects are workbook, worksheet, and range, where range can represent a single cell or a group of cells. Individual objects can be grouped together into a collection object. For example, an Excel workbook may have multiple worksheets, which are each a worksheet object. And these worksheet objects are made available to us from within the worksheets collection object. And note that the collection names in VBA are usually the plural of the object name. So we have a worksheets collection and a worksheet object. We can refer to an individual worksheet within the worksheets collection by using the worksheet tab name or its index number if you know it. The objects in Excel are arranged within a hierarchy known as the Excel object model. In Excel VBA, to manipulate an object, we first need to identify it. And the way to identify the object is to refer to it using the hierarchy within the object model. There are several hierarchies within Excel. Let's check out the one that we would use to refer to the range object. We start with the top level object, which is the application object representing the Excel application, and move our way down to the range object. So application, workbooks collection, the workbook file name, worksheets collection, the worksheet tab name, range, and the cell address given by the A1 notation. And to move one level down in the hierarchy, we use the dot notation. Here, we have used the complete hierarchy to refer to the range. We have several ways to shorten this reference, which we will see in the upcoming lessons. In the right context, we could even refer to the cell directly, that is, by just saying range A1. Now, an object has certain characteristics known as properties. For example, we can read the contents of a cell using its value property. We can even perform actions on an object. These are called methods. For example, we can merge cells A1 and B1, that is the range A1, B1, using the merge method. Properties and methods are members that belong to the object. This setup of what's available within an object is defined within a class. A class is a blueprint or template which is used to create an object. For example, there will exist a range class where the value property and merge method have been defined. And we can inspect these definitions within the object browser, which we'll cover later on in this chapter. We also have another component called events. Event is an action recognized by an object. For example, clicking onto a cell, opening a workbook, we can write code to respond to these events. Now that we have done an overview of objects, let's do one final summary of what an object is to really drive home the point. Any component that can be broken down further into individual components can and will be packaged as an object. The relationship between worksheet and cell ranges is easy to conceptualize. A worksheet does look like it's made up of cells. Hence, a cell range will logically be an object contained within the worksheet object. Visually, a cell range may seem like the smallest component. Is it possible to go down further? Yes. For example, the range object contains the font object, which has several properties such as font color, font size, etc. So in order to change the font in the range A1 to bold, we need to first access the font object and then set its bold property to true. And that's it for this theory section on objects. In the next lesson, we'll look at how to practically navigate through the object hierarchy in order to identify the object that we are after.